Yo,
what up,
Mega?
It's the dawn of a new day.
We're about a week too late.
I'm pretty sure half people listen to us just turned it off.
Yeah. My apologies. I was fucking with y'all. Also, I was so wrong. So if you heard the last episode, I was very emphatic about the result, and that shit went the total opposite direction.
Yo, welcome back, everybody, to the Carpet Football Podcast. He is Juan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit him with the drink of the day.
We got... This shit is dangerous, bro. I'm feeling slutty. I'm about 67 of these in. You got this delicious rum beverage called the Ebony and Ivory, and hopefully you guys catch on as to why it's called that. But in a shaker, you're gonna muddle a I don't know, what do you think, like an inch to like a chunk of pineapple. Chunk of pineapple with a generous amount of mint leaves, like maybe 5 or 6 mint leaves, half ounce of agave syrup, muddle that inside of a shaker, throw in some ice, throw in 1/4 ounce of black coral white rum, throw in an ounce of the Cruzan vanilla rum, shake that well, pour it in a glass filled with ice, top off with some club soda, and then garnish with a cracked mint and a pineapple. And if you guys are watching the video, you'll see the drink in there. The garnished pineapple. It is delicious. The pineapple is amazing when you let it soak in that too. And it go down dangerously easy. Like it feels like you're just drinking punch.
But what's nice about it is, man, it's just a shot. It's just a shot of rum.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
so
it's not too bad.
Crazy.
It's not like the rum runners or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's so tasty. I also like the fact that I don't think I've ever had vanilla rum in it. I mean, maybe in some kind of mixer at a restaurant or something, but I can recall, I've never had it. But the agave syrup with rum, I've never had that combo, and it goes really well.
It went well.
Yeah, because normally you think of agave syrup, and we've definitely done it with whiskeys and bourbons, and obviously tequila and mezcal. But yeah, I think it's the first time I've done it that I can think of. We have to go back to the archives of the podcast, see if we've done it. But I can't recall.
Yeah, we usually use simple syrup, if anything.
Yeah, but yeah, it is awesome. Dude, we've had some really good ones this year with rum. I don't think we've ever done as much rum as we had done this year.
No, we had like the whole run of rum.
Yeah, during the summer, and they were great, man. As I was saying, I don't think we've done that any other year where we had this many rum drinks, and then they were all good. I don't think we had a single rum drink that was disappointing.
Yeah.
So good. Also, rum is a relatively cheap beverage, even on the high end. Yeah. Like if you have a rum bottle costs $30, it's like it's good rum. It's like, and it's amazing. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that gallon of Bacardi costs $30.
Yeah, exactly. It's a gallon. Yeah. Whereas, sometimes with the bourbons and the whiskeys, you can get up there, $60-$70 for like a decent bottle. And there are rum bottles that are that expensive for sure, but the amount of really good rum you can get sub $30 is insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So and this one, man, when I came with this one, I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be good, because I didn't know if the vanilla would hit good.
It's so good, and you can taste it. Like, I feel like the other thing is, like, you can taste everything. Like, I can taste regular rum, that hints of vanilla at the end. The agave syrup, like, I had almost forgotten. I'm like, what was that? And then, like, when we were looking at it right before, so I'm like, oh, it's the agave. Like, you can literally taste every part of it, and the pineapple and the mint, like the mint too. Like, I don't know that it would hit the same without having that like hit of mint initially. Like it's cool, man. This is a good one. I really like this one.
All right, so check it out, people. Ebony and Ivory.
Let's go.
All right, man. Coming from another week, you already know it's going out to Mr. Donald Trump.
Dude,
I mean, how could you not give it to him?
Yeah, man. What a interesting. Dude, fucking election cycle.
You mentioned before, or as we sort of started the pod, man, that you predicted it'd be a landslide in the other direction.
Yeah,
I was like, nah, it's gonna be close. We were both wrong.
He
fucking
first time he's won popular and electoral college, right? Won the popular vote by a lot, won the electoral college by a lot.
Yeah, man.
She didn't win a single swing state,
bro. Four words, bro.
Wiped the floor with her, bro.
4 words, bro.
Go.
The people have spoken. Look, and listen, jeez. I thought she had a good chance, man. I thought she ran a good campaign, considering it was short notice. But man, this just proved that all the wild shit that you see Trump say, the working class person, for the most part, doesn't give a shit.
No.
And I saw several interviews in like middle America with even with like white women who were like, yo, we don't like the shit that comes out of his mouth either, but
we gotta put food on the table.
that's right. But what I do see is it's like the economy and inflation and the border issues, right? Like those things, they were things that affected us as Americans in the last 4 years, and one of them is our pockets. And most people don't know what the fuck, like inflation for everybody just means that prices are going up, right? That's kind of what it means in your head. What we all know is what we spend in the grocery store, right? Like a gallon of milk fucking costs $4, and gas prices and what have you. We all felt that shit over the last 4 years. The other thing too, man, those border issues of like, we weren't, well, at least what I've seen here in Florida, we were not affected by that.
Yeah, I don't.
But like places like New York, that shit is crazy. All those like the what do they call them? The sanctuary cities that these immigrants or migrants were sent to. That was affected. Those cities were really affected by those migrants, and so, dude, I just saw when I looked at the map. It was like a bloodbath, literally.
And it's funny you talk about the immigrants too, because a lot of those immigrants are from Latin countries. Latinos voted for Trump in record numbers too, which is yeah. They got here and they were like, yeah, this guy needs to shut this down. There's too many of us. It was too easy.
Yeah, for real, man.
Like we are
it's
with you.
not. It's crazy, man. And even the black vote, and 81 million people came out to vote for Biden in 2020.
Yeah.
Where the fuck were those people for Kamala? I think she got, 66 million?
Yeah, something.
She's talking about, bro, either 15 million people, because I don't think that he got, I kind of look at the numbers.
He didn't get the same number he got last time either, though.
So let's see, 2020, there was 74.2 million voted for Trump. In this election, it was just under that. I think 73.4. So he got around the same.
Oh, okay. I thought there was, you know what? There was a smaller voter turnout, but it was mostly because the Democratic side didn't have.
Yeah. Dude, she got 69 million. So you're talking about 12 million people didn't come out to vote? Or it kind of makes you think too, like, or was the whole voter fraud shit real?
I mean, there's always voter fraud, right? Like every election is voter fraud. I don't think it's to the tune of 12 million votes, though. Like, I don't know.
No, so I agree. So it's like,
dude, let's say 1 million votes are fake.
If it wasn't that, right?
Yeah. Well, let's just say 1 million are fake. It's not enough to swing an election, right?
Where the fuck are the 12 million people?
Oh, they just don't show up. Like people don't vote mostly. I think what happened was that you could mail in last time. For the average folk, like a lot of people.
You can mail in now too.
Yeah, but I think it was almost like it was very much encouraged. It was in the middle of COVID. It was like people were paranoid. It was like they had nothing else to do. I think people were they're sitting at home just fucking stewing on Fox News and CNN and watching riots and I think people were more inspired last time, because of COVID. Oh, my family's dying, and you either didn't like the way Trump was handling it, or you did, or right. I think last time people were more inspired to vote, and they just got to be home stewing on shit way more. Like, dude, if George Floyd happens today, we're mad. I don't think we're mad the same way. I don't think there's riots and looting and all this other shit and protests and all. Obviously those things are those things weren't because of that. They were sort of like a subset of people who took advantage of the situation. But yeah, I guess my point in that is I don't think we care as much if it happens today because we're all outside. I think back then it was like this perfect storm of everybody's going stir crazy. We're stuck indoors. We're all realizing how much we hate being at home with the people we're stuck with, and it's just like the fucking divorce rates are at an all-time high. Yeah, dude, it was like people were just fucking livid, and then just had nothing to do, and are looking for distractions, and are looking for things to almost be mad about or care about or passionate about. Or I think it was just like that perfect storm.
So do you think that 12 million voters, bro, just don't turn up at the polls?
I think so.
Bro.
Yeah, I think so. Dude, I
guess.
I didn't see as much passion this time around at all about either candidate. And obviously Trump's people showed up, but I think like obviously I thought it was going to go the other direction because of I thought that people didn't hate Kamala, right? They don't love her, but they don't hate her. And I thought there was enough people who would just go to show up to almost like, I don't want to vote for him. I don't like her. And I thought that it's almost like the opposite happened. The people who really like Trump showed up to vote for him, and then Kamala just didn't get people to show up. Also, bro, Democrats are fucking losers. And like, it's like, this would have been the easiest election to win in the history, I think, of the Democratic Party if you just don't suck. Like, if you think about everything they did was like, they're just like, the policy that they've and the platforms that they've used over the last few years, like, no one gives a fuck about on a grand scale. To your point, what you were talking before was like, hey, we all noticed the grocery bill, and they're still talking about social shit that impacts a very small group of people. And sure, like, whatever, like trans rights like are important and whatever do you want to think of that, it doesn't affect fucking 300 million Americans, right? And that's at the end of the day, like, the price of eggs, it resonates more with people than fucking what bathroom someone can use or who gets gender affirming care. And like, and then Democrats have a very like condescending way of almost talking down. It's like the things have flipped in the last few years where it's almost like, oh, you're a dumb piece of shit if you believe in the other side. And it's like, you're talking down to them. Instead of telling them, like, here's why you should come vote for us, the entire campaign was like, just don't vote for him. It wasn't. Yeah,
I thought it was like a lot of fear mongering, right? Yeah. Where it was just like, if you vote for him, he's a threat to democracy. And whether that's true or not, you sort of ran on that platform where it wasn't really like, you didn't give me enough reason to vote for you. And then the only reason to vote for you was because this guy is dangerous. Yeah, and that's kind of like what it was. And there's another thing too, man, where I felt, and I kind of felt bad for Kamala in this area. I thought she had time when she was asked questions like, "Hey, what would you do different than the last 4 years?"
No, nothing.
Right.
She literally said nothing.
And I was on The View, right? I think since you went on The View and they
just ran with that shit on every fuck.
Of course. And you go, yo, like, the border shit is a problem. I don't give a fuck who you are. It's a problem the way it is. Yo, if you would have just came out and just been like, listen, we could have done things better on the border thing, and here's what I plan to do moving forward, right? Even that, but to just go, well, everything was great over the last 4 years, and so here I'm just gonna do some extra stuff, like she was talking about the like the housing shortage and giving businesses the tax credit and the child tax credit, right? So like, or the that one in the first time homeowners, right? The $25,000 for that, right? Like, again, those things didn't move me. Now I'm not a Trump fan either. And I didn't vote for him. I actually voted for like a third party, which brings me to this, bro. I didn't realize that. So we had here in Florida, we had at least 5 candidates on there, right? Yeah. So it was like Republicans, Democrats, Libertarian, Green
Party,
and maybe one more.
Yeah, Jill Stein just runs her own shit. Let's fucking go, bro.
She's Green Party, right?
But Jill Stein been running since, this is her 3rd or 4th time, knowing she's going to get 16 votes and she just keeps showing up. I fucking love that. God damn it, Jill. Let's go.
But what I didn't realize was that we're one of, like every state is not like that.
Yeah. So, like you can or can't. Like RFK was still on some ballots, I think including ours.
Certain.
He might have been on ours.
Oh, no, I don't think he was on ours.
No?
I don't think so, no.
Man, he was in certain...
But yes, he was still in certain states. New York, for example, only the 2. Only Trump and Kamala. That's right. It? Trump, Kamala, or a write-in?
Or a write-in. Dude, I want to be honest with you. Anytime there's a write-in, I write myself. And I'm hoping I can convince enough people one day to do that so that I just show up on a graphic on like fucking ABC or
just
whatever.
Just like a sliver in the
it'd be like
pie
Trump,
chart.
Kamala, and I just want a little sliver that it'd be like, fuck whoever the fuck this Jay Lorenzo guy is.
But I saw that, man, and I was like, man, that's kind of fucked up, I think, right? Like if you're able to be on a ballot in one state, I think you should be on the ballot.
It's almost like it's a federal election. Why wouldn't you be allowed? Yeah,
Thank you.
It's
like,
so stupid. Yeah.
Right. But whatever. Again, those folks are. We're not in a place where those folks are gonna win.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like I said, I think Kamala did. I think Kamala did as good as she could do. Mm-hmm. I think that she also was kind of in this space where you can't bash the Biden administration, right? Because you're part of it.
Yeah, it's an awkward.
It's a really awkward,
it's an awkward position to be in because the guy who picked you and who put you in this position is, and also he could have done her a favor by saying, "Hey, I'm a one-term president, and the 4 years after that is Kamala's, and I want it now." And he could have said that early on in the game, and I think given her a longer runway.
Yeah,
I don't think it changes the result.
Maybe
but
not.
But actually, I think I have I'm pretty sure I kind of have this figured out, bro. And I don't want to hear anything about us being racist and us not giving a fuck about immigrants or any of that stuff of why Trump won and all that. Like, I think hopefully all that rhetoric dies, because I think it was obvious, bro. The fact of the matter is, like, he won because we hate women. Like, bro, two times highly qualified women on paper have interviewed for this job.
It's the only time Trump could win
against fucking the host of The Apprentice, who has the fucking, bro, Trump knows as many words as your average like 7th grader. And 2 times highly qualified women came up way short. And the only person that's been able to beat Trump was a fucking guy who didn't know he was interviewing for the job. He thought they were taking him out for pancakes at like senior hour.
It's fucked up, bro, but it's fucking true.
But bro, if you're a woman,
man.
We were like, yo, first off, our uterus, not yours. Second of all, you're not doing this job. Yo, Kamala kind of bit the bullet. We would have paid her less anyway. And I was like, bro, if you're a woman and you're watching it, bro, just on paper, right? And you look at Hillary Clinton's resume, right? And you
oh my
look
God,
at,
bro.
In terms of like political, I don't give a fuck what you think about her as a human being.
Yeah, bro.
In terms of like political, who's more qualified to do this job? Like Hillary Clinton, and then you look at Donald Trump's resume, and it's not even close. And the same thing with Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And then you just go, and he just fucking wipes the floor with them. And then you put Joe Biden, we're like, does he have a dick? We'll vote for that guy. Like, we don't care that he doesn't know where he is.
Dude, and not for nothing, man. There's a lot of women in this country who think that shit too.
Yo, bro, the amount of clips I saw where women can't run this country.
Yeah,
like, fucking
right. There's a substantial amount of women in this country who believe that shit too.
Yeah, we don't trust you to make decisions about your uterus, let alone run America.
You guys can't even get abortion.
What the fuck
right.
is wrong with you? Like, wait a minute, you can't make good decisions on who you make babies with? Nope.
It's so fucked up, bro. We're canceled officially.
Not why us, America. Fuck out of that.
That's right. I didn't vote for
that. That's y'all. Y'all hate women. That's like, it's obvious.
I voted for Chase Oliver. I don't even know who that motherfucker is.
Is that a guy or a girl?
I just saw it.
That could go either way.
It's a gay dude that's like your age. I was like, I'm in.
It's like, does he have a dick? I was gonna vote Jill Stein just because I like her enthusiasm. She just keeps showing up. I go to she's getting 16 votes every time, and she's like, I'm in. I think I got a good feeling this time.
Because you got to figure she opens herself up to scrutiny every time election time comes
or not, because nobody gives a fuck.
But dude, she goes on like she was on a Breakfast Club.
Jill Stein?
Yeah.
Good
And one of the girls on there was ripping her.
Oh man, listen, and also, Democrats are losers, bro. If y'all don't storm the Capitol, y'all a bunch of cucks.
Yo, when Kamala came out to do her speech, kind of,
concession speech or whatever.
Yes. I was like, you ain't got a hair on your ass if you don't say storm the Capitol, bitch. I'm like, do it now, I dare you.
We're not taking direction from a woman.
Oh man.
Oh my god. See, Michelle could win because we think she's a man. These conspiracy theories that Michelle Obama, it's like she'd win an election.
She's trash.
Yo, honestly, they would have had a better shot. That was probably Kamala's chance to win. Was like she would have just come out and be like, "Yo, I was actually originally a man. Like I'm a woman now, but I'm transitioning." We would have been like, "Oh, okay, so your original equipment is a dick." It's bubbling that.
Dude, I think, dude. So Trump is announcing his fucking dream team.
Yeah, all men.
No, actually, it's not. But no, it's not. He's got women.
Does he?
Too.
Name them.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay, name the ugly women. There's an ugly woman. Actually, Tulsi Gabbard, I guess, is kind of ugly. She's okay. Nah, she's ugly. I was trying to think about what Tulsi Gabbard looked like. I'm like,
No, she's not, man.
yeah,
I mean, she's not hot, but she's not ugly.
No, because you're grading her on the scale of other politician chicks.
Yes.
You're not grading Tulsi Gabbard on walking through the mall.
Okay, I take it back. She's ugly.
Tulsi might have had a shot because she sounds like she has an Adam's apple.
That was like in the military, bro. In the military, you fucking the girls were graded by their environment.
Yeah,
all dudes.
Yeah, it's like being in prison and the one female prison guard.
She's hot.
And she's hot and like she's really not. What is it? You know how you rate a woman and it's like, oh, she's a 7, but she's like an LA 3. That's like any other environment where you're the only woman. That's like the rating is like, oh, she's an LA 2, but she's a prison 11. Because last time Trump was picking women, bro, none of them looked qualified, but it was like he had a very specific type. It was like tall, blonde hair. Bro, you don't remember?
No, man. I don't really pay attention, bro. Like, matter of fact, I'm glad that this shit's over because I just want everybody, like, this, okay, like you know, this is kind of the build up, and then did you see all the online shit?
Oh my god, the whiny
fucking,
ass
the
people
fucking meltdowns. Like, shut up, people. I've done told y'all before, ain't nothing changing. Look, the world didn't blow up.
Nope.
And come January, whatever the fuck inauguration day is, it's like, it's not going to change. Everybody going to get up in the morning, going to go to work, you're going to go to school, whatever your day is, you're going to come home.
No one's taking your rights away.
And yeah, man.
Unless you're trying to pull a baby out with a coat hanger, then.
Just make sure you do that shit in your house.
Make sure you do that shit at home. Get some Plan B from wherever neighboring state still sells it.
Dude, doesn't Florida still sells that, right?
I think Florida still has Plan B, but you can't get an abortion here anymore, right? Like at all?
No, you can still get it.
I thought you couldn't even under medical condition now.
No, I thought it's still in it's like up until X amount of weeks, which really ain't shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, the amount of weeks though was like...
It's stupid. Like some women don't even know they're pregnant.
Yeah, it's like really, really short.
Yeah, it's low. So speaking of that, man, right? So Florida rejected measures to protect abortion rights and legalize recreational marijuana, which I voted yes for both of those.
I think I did too. Yeah, I did too.
And both of them actually got majority votes.
Yeah, like 58 and one at 56%,
something like that. But we can thank our former Republican governor Jeb Bush 20 years ago, who successfully pushed the threshold to change the Constitution to
you need
60% support, which is crazy. Which I go like, what the fuck's up with that? Right? It should be 51.
Did he need 60% to pass that? That would be wild. I feel like we should go back and be like, if that didn't get 60%, yes, it should get repealed. Like, can we retroactively apply the law that makes it 60%? Imagine if that shit only got like 51%.
Yeah,
that would
right.
be kind of hilarious. In hindsight,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like no. Then this should get 60%. If your push is to make it 60%, then that should get. We should look up how much that got.
That's funny, man.
Dude, I was surprised, as wild as we are in Florida, that we went
6 weeks is the abortion.
Yeah, most people don't even know they're pregnant by then. You got to miss a period or two, but it goes back to like we don't like y'all.
Clearly. And you know the other thing is too, man. I wonder the people that are the majority of voters we'll talk about women. Mm-hmm. The majority of women voters, are they like my generation, like Generation X?
Yeah.
Maybe like older millennials, Generation X, or the baby boomers, right? Who don't give a fuck about abortions anymore because they're past that. You know what I mean? And then maybe they just go like, I feel different about it now.
Yeah, they're like, I just drank like old school style.
I just downed a couple Mad Dog 2020s. Yeah. We get rid of that shit quick.
And got rid of it the old school way, the natural way. Yeah, I'm waiting. I hope we're never important enough to where someone has to take snippets of me talking shit and it sounds like I hate women.
It's coming, bro.
It's coming. I know it's coming.
Just don't ever run for anything,
just listen to
You're
this
fucked.
clip.
Yeah.
No, I think that ship done sailed for me, man. I've said too much wild shit. Actually, you know what? No, bro. I think if and I'm so glad you said that, because there's like a question that I've gotten like throughout the years was like why people believe that like voting for Trump is racist or like that stuff, right? And I think that the answer to that for a lot of Latinos and brown folks, obviously Latinos voted for him, right? So it's not across the board. But I think for brown folks, what happened is Trump represents a lot of what they tell us not to be. And then I think what we saw was, but it didn't matter for him. And so then what's the difference? Like, I think for Latinos and black folks across the board, it's like you guys have too many, single parent households, not enough dads. You guys have, multiple baby mamas. It's like, here goes Trump. You guys, you're convicted felons. It's like, well, here goes Trump. Hey, you guys, it's like everything that you're too loud, you're too passionate, you're too boisterous, you're too like, we're like, okay, cool, like we'll fix that. And then you like, here comes this guy and just does all the shit that we've been getting shit about for years, and then it's like, but he won by a fucking landslide. It's like, and not only did he win, you guys created a cult around him. And you keep up signs year round, not just during the election. Like, you guys are worshiping this guy for shit that we've been told our whole life. Like, hey, if you fix that, you can get this job. Hey, if you fix that, you can get, you get into this school. Hey, if you fix that. And I think that was really like I don't think for us it was ever a, hey, you're racist. I think it boiled down more to like, hey, everything that we get knocked for, this guy represented. And in some ways, it's also what makes a lot of Latinos and brown and black folks like him. But it's also the same reason why we're like, well, fuck, if he made it. And so I think to going back to what you were saying before is like, I think the days of using shit like scandals and shit people say and holding against them to get into office, I think all anybody has to do now is go like, whoa, it didn't matter when that guy ran. So like that guy literally is on tape saying, hey, you just grabbed him by the pussy. Like there's, and we were cool. Like, and I'm not saying that was right or wrong, but it's like, but we were cool. So now you go like, hey, what was the guy? Remember the guy who had like a great run a couple of years ago? I think from North Carolina. And then like a mistress came out and we were like, whoa, can't vote that guy in. But you're like, whoa, but this guy's paying off fucking porn stars.
Yeah, right.
And we vote, it's like, and we let him in. So like, it wasn't that, you know what I mean? Like it was never that. And I think that's that's sort of like the what comes out of this that can be positive is maybe you get more people to run for office because they aren't afraid of the scrutiny, because I think it doesn't matter anymore. And I think going back to what we were talking about, like Democrats just being losers, their whole campaign was on just regurgitating the same old shit that people have been saying for years. Well, he says this and he does this and you're playing clip. It's like, bro, we don't care.
Yeah,
if we've already said we don't care, why are you guys still harping on this?
It was a fear mongering.
Yeah,
man,
it was.
Thought. Here's the other thing, man. The media. So, depending on what you watch, what news feeds you listen to, even your social media feed, right? The numbers, the poll numbers had them really neck and neck, and then they would be like, oh, Kamala's leading by a point or two. Dude, that was all bullshit.
Yeah, I think it was accurate for, like, legacy media was still sort of on that Kamala shit, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't correct.
No, and it wasn't correct because they're not going to the right place, I think, for data.
Right. It's like it's just like, who are you polling? Because
if we're polling our grandparents and our parents, it's probably right. but not.
Yeah, like it just goes to show, man. Like, you know, and he being Trump, like, has been talking since he's been in office, or since 2016, that the media is fucking one-sided and they're against them. And it just kind of proved this point.
And I think that also fed into why people voted for him, because they just kept going, hey, man, this guy's been like sort of like quote unquote anti-institution.
Right.
And you guys just keep proving him right.
Right.
Like we're like, yo, he sounds fucking crazy. And then, you know, like something comes out, like to your point now about that. And we're like, well, fuck, maybe he isn't that crazy. Oh, maybe he is crazy, but there's some like truth to the shit he's saying. And I think because we assume he's a liar, you know, and everything that he says, we're kind of like, you don't take him serious. But it's like, hey, there's some truth in a lot of the stuff that he's saying.
Yeah.
But because of who the messenger is, like a lot of people were reluctant to receive that. But I think a lot of other people were also going, well, fuck, the government is shady, and the liberals or whatever, you know, are in cahoots with, you know, legacy media and all this stuff. And like,
yeah.
Bro, the other thing I got to give him credit for, man. And something that I noticed in the last like 2 weeks leading up to the election, he pulled up to all of the popular podcasts, all of the popular platforms. And I remember, you know, I remember us talking here about him being on Flagrant and going, man, he might have swayed a few people with that interview.
And Rogan.
And he was on Rogan, which, by the way, I listened to Rogan interview. I was completely disappointed in it. I thought Joe Rogan was disappointed in his interview for him. Like, if I'm an outsider and I'm listening to how the conversation is going, and I mean disappointed in the sense of not that he didn't like him. I think Joe's a great interviewer, and I love the fact that he gets 3 hours and all that. But one thing that kind of fell into the Trump trap was he let Trump sort of like do his thing where he just deflected and he talked.
Yeah.
And like the guys from Flagrant almost got Trump to disarm himself and step away from the politics and from the voice and from the like me talk.
With the jokes.
Yes, they were able to disarm him with jokes, and you got, like, I thought the most authentic version of Trump, where on Joe Rogan he was Trump. He was like, he wouldn't answer the question. He would talk in circles, and a couple of times Joe Rogan would
go
like,
back.
hey,
yeah.
go back and
right.
And so that's why I thought, I'm like, yeah, if you're him, this has to be frustrating. It wasn't a good interview, you know. But ultimately he wound up endorsing him.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of these endorsements are because she didn't show up to Flagrant. She didn't show up to Rogan. She was invited and didn't show up. And I think one of the things that it showed me is, like, we're going back to legacy media. Dude, that's not where the influence is anymore. And the big one that stood out to me was, dude, all these celebrities that came out, right? Taylor Swift is the biggest superstar in the world right now.
No one cares, bro.
No one gave a fuck who she endorsed. And in fact, I don't even think I saw her post like one thing and endorse Kamala, and then fucking disappeared, right?
Yeah.
She didn't show up to a rally or whatever. And I saw Beyonce did like a whole thing and all that. And there was a point in time where those endorsements meant something. Those days are gone. And I don't think they're gone because they're not celebrities, quote unquote. They're just not the celebrities that people care for. Like, if you go ask your kids who a celebrity is to them, they're gonna be like Kai Cenat and
yep.
Speed and
yep.
Mr. Beast, and, you know, like all these people that to most of the people listening to our podcast are going, who the fuck is that?
Right.
And those are the superstars to these kids now, and that's where the influence is moving. It's moving to like streaming. It's moving obviously to YouTube. It's moving like some podcasts. Like, dude, him doing Joe Rogan, and I love when they. I think Flagrant guys asked him what made him do the podcast, or they got into it, and he goes, "Oh, my son.
His son.
My son told me." He's like, "Oh, who votes the least in this country? 18 to 29-year-old men." And he's like, "I asked an 18-year-old, what are you guys listening to?" And he fucking told him, and that's why he went on Theo Von. He went on fucking, you know, what was it? He did a few of like the podcasts you wouldn't expect him to do. The broadcasts that people call them, where they kind of clown him because they're like, oh, those are just the one with men. It's
right.
like, but yeah, those people don't vote. And guess what? You went to them. Like Kamala, to me, she showed up, call her daddy. That's a left-leaning women. Like, first off, the women are going to vote for you already, like most, and the left-leaning people are already going to vote for you. So you need to go to where the people are that are sort of undecided.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Joe Rogan, has the most reach amongst the black audience. Joe Rogan, right? Just because he has sheer numbers. It's the most, the number one listened podcast in the world for blacks, for Latinos, for whites.
Dude,
for
he has said that the that podcast with Trump at one point was getting 1.5 listens per hour.
Yes.
That's fucking insane.
For her not to do that is so stupid. It's to me, like, Joe Rogan has become even bigger than Howard Stern ever was, because Howard Stern never made it to mainstream. Howard Stern was like sort of a niche, like, hey, you had to pay for Sirius because they had to keep him on because he was so raunchy.
But before that, he was syndicated. He was
but
on radio,
on the wild shit. But you go like, but Howard Stern wasn't like the stop you had to make. It was almost like you were ballsy if you made the Howard Stern stop, because you're like, hey, he's not holding back from the questions. It was like the people who did it, you were like, oh, they're cool. You know what I mean? Like,
he wasn't really able to be fully himself until he went to Sirius.
But then because Sirius was like having cable, it's like putting the Super Bowl on cable, right? Like, it was like you just weren't going to get the reach. And podcasts is like everyone gets them because you can get them for free, and the reach is wider, and it doesn't make, like, obviously Howard Stern is like sort of the OG of, I think, of this sort of new media space, because Howard Stern was the one who was like, oh, I'll do radio and I'll do a TV show and then I'll break off to satellite radio and all that. But I think Joe Rogan has a far bigger reach than Howard Stern has. And even across mainstream media, and it's weird. It's like, right or wrong, what, I don't know, but it's just like, it is what it is. The facts are, like, it's the most popular platform in media, and to not do that seemed criminal to me. And I think to almost have the arrogance of like, I don't need to show up to any of these other things. Like she did like Club Shay Shay and all the smoke.
She
and
did a lot of the sort of the black.
But the black,
right?
They were already voting for you,
right.
And it was like, hey, you. And then so if I'm a white male, if I'm a white female in middle America,
right, it's
like, the fuck are you doing for me? And I don't even get a chance to hear it because you didn't go to the places where I'm listening
to. You didn't meet me where I'm at,
because you're fucking losers. It's like, bro, will a Democrat ever win another election in the next? Do you think about it? It took a superstar like Barack Obama for them to win. I mean, superstar, right? Like, Barack Obama was like young. He was kind of cool. He was the first one to leverage like social media.
But before that, it was Bill Clinton.
Yeah, right. But another charismatic, and other than that, dude, if you remove the personalities out of the way, it's like Republicans have been just fucking crushing the Democrats for a long time as the presidential elections go. I think Biden was like an anomaly because I think that was a vote against Trump, not a vote for Biden necessarily at the time, and he just wasn't a woman, so we were like, okay, cool, we'll vote for him.
I think Biden's best chance would have been 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Do it then he'd be done, right? He would have been done now, like literally been done.
Yeah, because Barack was like the only president, at least in my lifetime, that probably would have won a third term.
Oh yeah,
like by Bush's second term.
Reagan would have probably.
Yeah, I was probably too young for that one, but like, I think by Bush's second term, we were like, all right, bro, like, that was when the economy was crashing and stuff. We were like, all right, get the fuck out of here. Even Clinton's second term, people were kind of sick of him. As popular as he was, it was like,
But that was after all of the controversy. Yeah.
The blowjobs and.
But everybody still loved Clinton after that, man.
I think we, because I mean, the impeachment process
from a pop culture.
Yes, but from a pop culture, because we were like, bro, this guy's getting blowjobs at the Oval Office. Like, that's our dude. We assumed everybody was, but we were like, all right, we know you did. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm really curious to see what the next election cycle holds, because there's like a marketing, there's a name in marketing for like where you go where the audience is, right? Like there's like a lot of different strategies that you could do. Like you can bring consumers to you, right? Or you go to where their consumers are and I think politics is one of those places where you have to meet them where they already are, right? Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to go listen to Kamala talk, and I don't want to go listen to Trump talk anywhere, right? Like, I'm not going to go seek that out necessarily.
Yep.
But if you're on something that I already listen to, like I enjoy this podcast with these specific individuals and its hosts, and you happen to be on there, I'm going, I'll
listen.
Yeah, and I think that is going to shift, and so I'm really curious to see what happens in the next election cycle is like, okay, where does that go? Does that mean do podcasts become the place that these guys make their rounds and he stops and it's no longer radio shows and it's no longer The View and all that shit? It's like, or CNN or Fox interview. Dude, I didn't see a single viral clip from a Fox interview or a CNN interview, and normally you would have seen one. I didn't see a single thing. Everything I saw for any of them were coming from podcasts. And then anything I saw from them that I wanted to listen that was like long form format was podcast. Like, I'm like, if they were on a news network, I had zero interest in listening to it because I knew it was going to be one-sided depending on where they were.
Yeah. And what I don't like about the normal news, man, or the legacy media, as we're kind of calling them now, is their limitation on time.
Yeah.
Whereas the podcast world, it's almost like you're able to go for as long as you want or as long as necessary.
Yeah, and also in a podcast, you're not trying to sell pharmaceutical ads. Like I guess other than Blue Chew, but like you're mostly
trying to consider pharmaceutical.
Yeah. I guess it would, but like on fucking like on podcasts, like yeah, they have ads, they have stuff, but they're not ads that are at least yet, right? That'll change. That aren't controlled by like the big pharma. Mostly controls fucking legacy media, right? Like every commercial during any news network is like, take this drug. Are you feeling fucking happy, sad, whatever? You're gonna bleed through your anus, but you'll be happy. You know what I mean? Like every fucking commercial is like that shit when you're listening to normal news. Podcasts haven't gotten to that point yet where they're sort of the network is controlled or they're beholden, I think, to a specific like interest group or a lobbyist group, right? Yeah. And neither will streamers, right? Like streamers are going to get to the point where streamers are getting paid directly by the consumer, right? Like streamers are getting donations and they're getting subscription fees and I'm sure, listen, someone's going to figure out a different monetization strategy and it'll change that. But I think as long as you can keep it, like the thing with the streamers is like if I'm willing to pay to subscribe to you, to listen to you, it's like it's the greatest sort of endorsement that you could get from someone is because the consumer is paying you directly. We all pay cable bills and then they decide how they want to sort of allocate the money on the commercials and the ads and whatever. Like, but when we decide to subscribe to someone who it costs us money or do donations during these live streams or a podcast that may have a Patreon or whatever, like we're literally and saying like, hey, we love this specific piece of content and we're willing to support it with our dollars, like in that sense. Right. And I think that is going to cause like a seismic shift in how the influence is sort of gathered later on to like through these elections. I don't think you can roll out Beyonce anymore. I don't think you can roll out a movie star. I don't think necessarily Joe Rogan is going to be the guy. It's going to be really fascinating to me to see like who's going to be the first one to sort of turn that corner. I wouldn't be shocked if JD Vance, like unless this administration for the next 4 years is a disaster, because JD Vance has his backing of all these like big tech and what do you call them, the technocrats or whatever, like all these big tech firms. It's like, do they sort of like groom this guy and put him out on platforms and use him to influence, and you start seeing him on a lot of stuff, right? Unless he's catastrophic and just horrible as a VP, right? But I'm more fascinated about what this means for the next one, because it means no more Trump, and so now you have to go back to like grassroots politics, but with this sort of shift in where the influence lies.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, man, that I noticed, and I was telling my kids this. Beware of your social media people, whether it's Facebook, whether it's X, whether it's Instagram, whatever. Like your feeds are curated by what you like.
Yeah.
And for
what you hate.
And what you hate. Yeah, that's true.
And what you hate. Yep.
And or what I'll say this, for what you pay attention to.
Yeah,
right?
Attention is the currency.
That's right.
It's the biggest currency.
And so it's just these algorithms that kind of record how much time you spend on what content, and then it's curated to give you more of that. And so I think for a lot of us, that becomes our reality. And so if you are glued to, in this case, really like horrific shit that Trump says, or that Trump's a threat to democracy, like that is the kind of shit that it's going to keep feeding you. It doesn't mean that is a reality. Right. And we have to really like kind of, and my kids are the one that came to me and they were like, oh man, like, this guy won, and it was like everything on my feeds were that that he wasn't going to win. Like he's the bad guy. And as a matter of fact, they were kind of rooting for him because they were just like, oh, we're rooting for the bad guy, kind of like, right. And it was, and I had to tell him, just like, guys, you got to be careful, man, because you know what? A lot of people that even people that I follow, right, is I follow urban type individuals, right, because I like hip hop, and so and a lot of those and a lot of folks in that space were lean left. It doesn't mean that that's reality.
Right.
That's just what your feed is feeding you, and those people and their ideas. Again, it's just one side, and it's one side amongst many sides.
Dude, and I think it's the problem with this, like, the culture where attention is the largest currency is because, unfortunately, that means that we have to take these 10-second clips and snippets, and those are the things that sort of like get put in our day-to-day like attention feeds, right? Yep. Like because our attention span is so short, right? Like we don't sit through a 30-minute news show or an hour news show. We will listen to a 10-second clip on TikTok or on Reels and on IG and whatever. And so we're easily there's a generation out there that's easily influenced by this. Like, dude, how many people I saw this a lot from like my older relatives where they're just like regurgitating shit that they heard on like some news network or some headline they saw or something, and it's like, well, that's actually not the full truth. But it's like we know so many people who like that was their post on social media where it would be like, hey, if you vote for this person, it means X, and it would be like just the most obscene, crazy thing that they heard, and it was like there would be a snippet from a news thing where they would take just 4 words that this person said, and people would take that as gospel, and it would be like, hey, actually listen to the whole. That's not what that meant at all, and it's really bizarre to me that we still fall for that.
Yeah,
and I wonder. Like, to your point, like your kids are saying, hey, man, I was being fed this. But your kids are also going to be smart enough to go, at least I would think that this next generation is smart enough to go, man, I know we're being fed bullshit because we're being fed in 15-second increments. And so there's no way that's the full story. Like, how do you then change
their life? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's been their life. Like, they don't know what life is like without internet. They don't remember what life is like without social media. They don't. Dude, it's been my kids are my oldest kid is 17. It's been around that long, and that is what that is what they're fed. That is where they spend their time. They don't watch TV, man. They watch TikTok. Yeah. They watch YouTube. And so I just try to always tell them, just like, man, like, just be careful.
Do your research and then listen to stuff, and then I try to. It's funny, man. I've had like interesting conversations with my kids during this because they'll ask like, well, who do we like, or whatever, and then just or. Like, why do people hate this person or like this person or whatever? And then, like having those conversations, and I've always been, and I don't know if I went about them the right way, but I definitely, one of the things that I sort of try to beat to them, it's like, hey, like, do your research, like listen and read to multiple, make sure you get the full story. Like these 15-second and 30-second clips aren't almost, like, and I forget what example it was, but there was one where we used that, and I was like, okay, you listen to this, like, yeah, it sounds awful. Here's the full picture.
Dude, the Puerto Rico shit was fucking a great example.
Which, shout out to them for picking, like, Latinos came out in droves to vote for Trump. Most Latinos hate Puerto Ricans, so shout out to them for picking the right group to make fun of. It's like, bro.
But we're citizens.
Exactly. They hate us, bro. Puerto Ricans, like we're citizens, and we're also like the white people from trailer parks. You know how white people, even like white people hate white, like trailer trash white people. They're like, it's almost, they treat them like a different race. It's like Puerto Ricans are like the hillbillies of Latinos, and we're citizens, so they're already pissed off like twice as much. So it's like the best group if you're gonna make fun of them. I was like, no way that sways an election. I was like, first off, it happened in New York. They're voting blue anyway, so you had no shot. So it was like,
dude, New Yorkers came out big for Trump.
They did. I mean, it still was. I mean, it was still yeah. But to your point, they came out big, man. It shocked me, and then afterwards, in the aftermath, like, and actually thinking about it, I was like, I don't know why I'm surprised. I think the not winning a single swing state, like early on.
I was gonna say he won all of them.
Dude, right? By like 8:15 that night, I was like, oh, she's cooked because, you know, like you can't even, and I'm looking at the numbers rolling in from like Pennsylvania and like Michigan and Ohio, and I was like, oh, you're fucked. Florida was called at like 7:02.
Yeah, bro. I was surprised, man.
I was like, yo, that's not even close. You're fucked.
She has significant votes in Florida too, man. But I guess
just not enough, man.
Not nearly enough.
I think what happened was that they counted and they just kind of knew. I think they have a pretty good idea based on the county that was outstanding where they're gonna swing, and they were just like, bro, it was early as fuck, and they had called Florida already. And you remember the last few elections, Florida's been like, you know, into the night.
We've been holding shit up.
Yeah, because we're out there fucking playing with our pet raccoons and shit and shooting up shit. We're showing up late. The lines are around, you know, like fucking 3 miles long to vote. It was quick. I dude, when I showed up to the voting thing, I was like, it was nothing but Trump shit everywhere, inside of the voting place and in the parking lot. These guys are tense and shit, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you're breaking the law right now, but cool, what's up? I was like, and then I was in and out. And I literally did it the most last minute because I wasn't gonna go at all. I had zero interest.
Oh, I did the fucking. I get it mailed to the house, so I'll do it at the house, and then I actually physically take it to the voting, and then they have like a mailbox just for that.
I check my mailbox like once a month. I be forgetting that's a thing.
Oh, you're one of those. Yeah. Shit just be hanging out.
I be forgetting that's a thing. I'm like, who sends paper anymore? And then I purposely respond with like a feather and ink. Like, dearest Spectrum. Fuck y'all.
Dude, let's switch gears, bro. I heard you just say something about raccoons. Did you hear the fucking dude? The dude, it was in New York?
In New York with the pet squirrel and a raccoon.
I heard this story vaguely. Do you know the details on it?
What I know is he has this pet squirrel that he's had for the better part of like 5 years. Like he's had this pet squirrel for a long time. Yeah, it's like viral. Like he's had these videos with him on TikTok.
Oh, so he goes on. He's on social media with that shit.
Yeah, with shit. Okay. Like he's got like thousands.
They blew him up, bro.
Things. Yeah, that looks like it's likely what happened. And then he's had a raccoon for like 5 months or something. So he's had the squirrel for years, the raccoon for a few months. And so people in his, I don't know if it's his neighborhood or the county or whatever, reported him. And basically in New York, you can't have a pet squirrel. They're just not, or a raccoon.
Motherfucker, the squirrels are running around like crazy in New York.
But you can't keep them inside and, you know, domesticated, I guess. And I guess he was in the process of, I guess there's some kind of certification or licensing or whatever you can get to say, hey, this is an educational squirrel, which means he can use it like for his videos and yada yada yada. Yeah. And then he was allowed to have them, almost like a museum or like a zoo or whatever. So he was going through that process, and he said while he's going through that process, basically animal control showed up.
They raid his house.
They raid his house to take it. The squirrel bit the animal control dude. The squirrel went down guns blazing. Yo, shout out to this fucking squirrel, Peanut. His name is Peanut.
Let's go, Peanut.
Yo, let's go, Peanut. I'm gonna share with Peanut's name on it, y'all. I was like, gang. Peanut was biting motherfuckers. He was going off, and he got tested for rabies and everything after he was dead because they wanted to make sure that the guy was good. But yeah, they killed Peanut and they euthanized him, and they took his raccoon. All because some people online reported them. And
dude, and not for nothing, man. It's a little scary, and this is the kind of shit that like someone like your really big Trump supporters is looking at, and they're going, "Yo, why is the government allowed to come into your house and do that?"
Also, that's why y'all need guns in New York, cucks. It's so hard to get a gun in New York. Yo, you think somebody's taking somebody's squirrel in Florida? An animal control dude? Good fucking luck, bro.
Get off my lawn, bitch.
Some guy named Clevis with a bazooka is gonna fucking... Animal control's got no shot, and they know better than that. They're like, he got a what? A crocodile and a kangaroo?
Yeah,
that's all right.
But here's the other thing, bro. Like, why are you not allowed to have a squirrel, but you could go to the store and get a fucking hamster or a fucking chinchilla, or you know what I mean? Like a rat, a mouse. Like, why are you allowed to have that shit but not a fucking squirrel?
Yeah, New York's wild, man.
Dude, that shit is crazy.
And
bro.
It's also weird that the rules aren't the same, like federally. I know we have states, and states are allowed to do different things and all that.
Business,
but
man.
It's like, yeah,
dude. If you own an animal that is a danger to the people around you, I get it.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like
you got a tiger or something.
Yes. If you have a fucking tiger, because I heard heard like Texas is kind of like that, man. Texas, you can kind of own whatever the fuck you
I think
want.
there are more tigers in Texas than in the wild, in the places where they're actually from. And I think that's a fact, bro. I don't think it sounds like one of those wild ass things.
No. I think you're right about. I'm
almost
pretty
positive
sure in
that's true,
Texas
bro.
you can pretty much own whatever the fuck you want. They got zebras and
Texas
shit.
don't give a fuck, bro.
Yeah, right.
You know why? Because they all got guns. And the government's like, do I want to take a zebra?
Not that bad.
Because Troy got bazookas. No, bro.
But man, I saw that story and I was just like, man, that's so fucked up, man.
Yo, shout out. R.I.P. Peanut. Peanut's like the new Harambe. Like, remember when Harambe, we was wilding about the gorilla getting shot in the zoo, yo? Peanut's the new Harambe, bro. Why you gotta fuck with Peanut?
Staying with New York, did you see the new Fortnite season?
No. I'm surprised. My son's normally all over that.
Okay, so the new Fortnite season comes out. The only reason I know is because I have one of my sons is a huge, like, just a Fortnite fanatic. And for those of you who don't know, Fortnite is like an online game that is fucking free, but they managed to get kids to pay for skins.
It's the most expensive game you ever pay for.
Oh my god, thousands of dollars. I'm pretty sure, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway. So they had a new season, and usually they do shit for the new season, whether they come out with new skins or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Snoop was a new skin in this one.
Mm-hmm.
He fucking shut down Times Square and performs for the Fortnite season. So my son is like, "Yo, come over, like, look at this." So I'm in his room, standing in, behind his monitor, watching Snoop perform at Times Square live, and it's cool. And then he can switch to like game mode to where you're seeing other live players watching Snoop, or you can switch back to Snoop live. So it's Snoop and fucking Ice Spice.
That's awesome.
And then they make skins for both of them, so you can buy these skins to kind of play in the game, and it's a shoot 'em up game.
Yo,
people.
has anyone ever blown up so crazy and you couldn't name me a single song like than Ice Spice? Good for her, bro.
That's true. I can't name a single.
All I know is she said he a munch. That's the only line I know of ever from Ice Spice. I don't even know what the name of the song is. I don't know. She be calling dudes munches, and not a single song, but she's blown up. Good for her, man. The Fortnite shit is cool as fuck with that, because I think Eminem's done that with the concert, and so is Travis Scott.
Yep. Travis Scott had a whole concert.
Yeah, it's a cool mix of like virtual reality AR like thing. Mm-hmm. And again, man, it goes back to the like you go where the people are. Like the amount of logins that like Roblox and Fortnite and all that have in a certain age demographic is insane. And it's worldwide, and it's reach that you couldn't pay. Like there isn't an amount of money that you could pay for that I think is too much to have that. Like if you're Snoop, and dude, Snoop is also one of those people who's like beloved generationally.
Dude, he's iconic.
Like,
at this
can
point.
your boys name a single Snoop Dogg song?
I'm gonna ask him.
I bet you they can't, but they like Snoop Dogg, and they can't tell you why. They're probably gonna be like, "Yo, he's just funny."
If they can, it'll be something that they've heard me play, probably one of his old joints.
Yeah, like they're not gonna be like gin and juice or
they'll probably be like bitches ain't shit.
Bitches ain't.
That song you play in the car all the time, Daddy.
Daddy plays bitches ain't shit on the way to school. Because America hates women.
I said what I said. 4 words. The people have spoken.
Bitches ain't shit is the name of the episode. That's fantastic.
But I thought it was phenomenal, man. Like I said, and Snoop is one of those guys that he's just been, especially like lately, man. He's on The Voice, and he was basically like the American spokesperson for the Olympics.
Yeah,
he's got a new album coming out, right? He's just in.
Is it regular rap this time? Is it gospel? Is it?
No. I think it's supposed to be like what's the?
He did reggae at one point.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the first album he came out with? The one that he's on. Is it Doggy Style?
Doggy Style. Oh, it is Doggy Style.
Doggy Style.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like almost like a sequel.
Oh, that's
to
cool.
Doggy Style.
Yeah, I see. I'm gonna listen. Yeah.
But so on that Fortnite new season thing, so he performed one of his new songs there. So it's just like, you know, marketing genius from his side, but also from the Fortnite side, right? To bring him, and then you bring a new artist, like a newer artist like Ice Spice in there, man, and my kids know them both,
Dude. And he's a streamer. Going back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg is an avid streamer. Has a huge like following on like Call of Duty and on his Twitch channel when he I think it's Twitch that he uses. I think it's Twitch when he goes live.
Yeah.
And not because he's a good gamer. It's because he's an entertainer. Like he's so entertaining. And it's funny because he said your boys like him. So do we. So do like 55, 60-year-olds. Like,
dude, my mother's in her 70s.
She knows.
She watches The Voice, and she doesn't know shit about Snoop and his rap career.
No.
Like that. She knows that, oh, Snoop is on The Voice. He's funny.
That's Martha Stewart BFF. He cool. Yeah, dude.
He's funny.
I don't know how he did it, but he has somehow managed to like appeal to everything from
generations, bro.
To fucking cooking show people, and it's impressive to see, man. Like somebody's gonna have to do like a study on Snoop and his life and career and stuff at some point, and I'd be really curious to like hear that like his autobiography or like a documentary done on his life, because I can't describe it, but he's so likable in so many different formats that like to your point, it's like your mom is like, no, he's funny. It's like you would like, for some of us, we would look at that and we would go, man, is that going to be off-putting for a 70-year-old?
Right.
And no, like he, for some reason, he just transcends age gaps and he
really
transcends
does,
cultural norms. And yeah, I mean,
it's going to be one of those dudes, and I hope he lives a long time, but it's going to be one of those dudes that when he does pass, it'll affect a lot of people.
Well, he's unique too. Like his voice is extremely unique, right? Like I don't know that we'll ever get someone with that like unique of the combination of like charisma, the voice, the just like the lightning in a bottle of that time in the West Coast, and it's like you said, it's one of those things we take for granted, I think, because we're living in the moment, but we're gonna look back on it one day and be like, man, that was fucking cool.
Bro.
Like that guy was something else, man. And then he almost doesn't get enough credit because he is in everything all the time that you just sort of take for granted. Like, yeah, of course he's like, I forget that there was like a window there where he wasn't around for like some stuff, and then suddenly he's everywhere. Like you
right now he's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Yeah, and there was a time frame there where he sort of, he was just doing music and he disappeared for a little while.
Yeah.
But dude, we haven't even talked on like we want to like the spirit of the podcast is always like things making an impact. Snoop's football program alone, and the lives he's changed through that, is we could have a whole podcast on just what he's done for kids in football and the opportunities that he's created and the experiences and moments that he's given these kids.
Yeah.
Just in that, and it's not even like the thing that made him famous.
Right.
It's like it's a
most
passion.
people don't know him for that.
No, at all. And he has a reality show from that and everything.
And there's a movie out. There's a movie that came out semi recently. I think it was on Netflix. And it's about a guy. It's him. He coaches a youth football team.
Oh, see, that's cool. Dude, he had a reality show on his football team.
Oh,
and
really?
He had a reality show. There was something else, but the amount of opportunity he got for these kids, because then it became like that's where you wanted to play,
right?
And a lot of kids got a lot of attention and a lot of like a situation. Now, I can't remember how many of them have gone pro or even college, but even if you just got to college and you got a free education out of it or a semi discounted education or whatever out of being on there, I mean, good for you, man.
Yeah,
he certainly changed lives doing that because of a passion that he had, obviously, for football. It's like,
man.
It's cool.
All right, man. How we doing on time?
Dude, we're an hour 3 in.
All right, let's finish it off, man. What you want to end with?
I feel like I got to be nice to women because I'm gonna get so much shit for this one. Someone's just gonna cut up this one when I run for office one day, and they're gonna be like,
"Don't ever run for office."
No, actually, I should play this one and I'll get elected.
Oh,
right. I think that's what I do.
Lean in.
It's like anytime someone goes like, hey, like, can you come on our podcast? I'm like, no, play episode 207.
I need my residuals.
Enough said. And I'm just going to yell, MAGA. It should be like a memo. It's like "Make America Men Again."
So what you want to end with any of these?
Oh fuck, man! What do we? I got. There's a couple of funny ones in there that I feel like we could go to.
What's this skin so soft shit? Is that a good one?
Ooh, that is a good one. Let me pull up the story because I want to get all the make sure I have all the facts straight. But the skin so soft. So that's, of course, guess where. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to tell you what the story is, and you tell me where you think this happened.
Go.
So Operation Skin So Soft is what this was called, and it was an undercover operation. And it led to the arrest of 21 women at massage parlors across several towns. And it was...
That's in Florida.
Of course it's in Florida. And these women...
Is it Kissimmee?
Yeah. It's funny you should ask. It is in Davenport, Dundee,
Ooh.
Lakeland, Winter Haven. Like
I'm fucking close.
Yeah, you're not far, man. And it was these women were offering sexual acts for money during undercover sessions. And obviously they had a couple of so they reported that 12 of the 22 parlors were found in violation. And obviously they sent some undercover cops in there. And
Okay, why do they call it Operation Skin So Soft?
yo, why do you think, bro? First off, every woman they arrested, according to this mugshot, you tell me what the common denominator is between all these women. It's racist as fuck to call it that.
They're all Asian. But yo, not for nothing, bro.
Operation Skin So Soft gotta be the most racist name in the history of police things, bro. We're not even trying to hide that shit no more. We're like, nah. We hate y'all and we hate Asian. It's a double whammy.
Yo, not for nothing, man. We will get to a day where there is a need. Men have a need for like
a hand job without getting nagged.
Yes. Yo,
yeah.
just like a they just want to, you know what? Just want to get fucked and go home. Like, or get a hand job or get a blow job and go home.
Yo, being ugly sucks.
And there are women willing to provide that service.
Yeah.
What is the problem, bro?
We can't get 60% or more.
Goddamn you, Jeb Bush.
Fuck you, Jeb.
Yo, why
at what point
can't
did you put that up for?
You could fucking do that, dude. All those places that you said,
yeah,
no one goes there.
No, bro. Every time we see one of those, we know what's up. You know what I mean? We all know where there's one near us. A thing in the plaza. We're like, all right, I know what y'all up to in there.
Dude, but nobody, it's just like Lakeland, Davenport. Like, what the fuck's over there besides homes? Like, no one's going over there for a theme park or for perhaps you're going there for work. I guess you could go there, but whatever, man. Like. Yo, there's a need. So, like, I wouldn't say that you want to have that shit on every street, but you could confine it to areas and go, yo, if you go to this area, that shit is okay.
Like a red light district kind of.
Yes,
is it Germany
man.
that has even like the parking spaces for you to take prostitutes in? Is it Germany? Like they have these like bays that almost like garages where you can pull into
really?
a car.
No, I never heard of that.
I could be wrong, man, but there's a fucking country out there that has that, and there's like a whole thing where you pay and you pull in your car. It's like a garage, so you have privacy, quote unquote, like, and you. Whatever, and you like pay these hookers. Dude, I don't know. Like, we can't even get weed past here. So
yeah.
You know what would be hilarious? Like, we won't pass the abortion thing, and we'll pass this. So like, because inevitably something horrible is gonna happen to one of these women, and we're gonna be like, you gotta keep it though. Your body, not your choice.
Wait a minute. You stuck into the border?
Yeah.
We get to fucking deport your ass.
We're going to send you back. We're sending 2 of you back.
It's a 2-for-1 special. I hate that we both talked about it at the same time.
Yo, you know that's what's going to happen.
Yo, Yo, on that, tell them where they can find us.
Women's Monthly magazine. And Cover Food Podcast on YouTube.
Cosmo.
Estee Lauder Weekly. The Common Football Podcast on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Actually, TikTok is at Carbon FE Pod, on X at Carbon FE Pod, at Carbon Football Podcast on IG, and then anywhere where you listen to music or your podcast, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, JioSav Ghana if you're out in India and the Middle East. And or your smart device, man. Just tell your smart device to play us, your Google Home, your Alexa, and they'll know what to do. I feel like I'm forgetting one. No, that's it.
No.
Yeah. Leave some feedback. Leave a review. I really don't hate women. I just think America does.
And I'm going to leave y'all with this one for this week. Don't let yourself be controlled by three things: people, money, or past experiences.
Ooh. People, money, or past experiences. I got to add one to that, man.
Go.
Your own imagination. Things that how much time do we spend on things that will never happen, but we create the problem in our head first, man. So like, don't let shit control you that hasn't even happened yet. Like, how much shit? Like, what if? We're like, well, the what if isn't here.
There's a whole lot of bad shit that could happen. Just wait for it.
Yeah, and then bitch.
Yo, as always, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Bye.